Hey, welcome to the Snowboard Project. I'm Mark Sullivan.
And I am the Beeve, and you are tuning in for Real Talk. Today is September 10th, and we are coming to you live from the Hot Water Inn with our first talk show. Tell me a little bit about this, Mark. What are we doing?
Well, basically, I wanted to come up with something that would cover the current events and the things that are going on a daily basis. You've already heard maybe a couple of the interviews we've done, some long format interviews. Well, there's more to snowboarding than just the stuff that happened in the past, and so we're going to cover what's going on right now in the sport of snowboarding.
This is the Snowboard Project featuring Mark Sullivan and the Beeve. Support advertising free snowboarding media at patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the things that are going on in the world of snowboarding this week. And so I would like to start out with maybe like New Zealand, because New Zealand is a place that is like, there's a lot of pro riders there. Right now, they're riding at Cardrona. They're riding around the Wanaka area on the South Island of New Zealand. And it's kind of funny because, you know, you look, there's like basically like two zones people go to this time of year to go snowboarding. And so it's either going to be South America, like Chile and Argentina,
right,
or New Zealand. And it seems to me the guys who are like more on the free riding spectrum of snowboarding, they go to South America, and the guys on the competition side of snowboarding go to New Zealand.
Right. And so happening down in New Zealand right now, we have what, FIS Junior World Championships
going on? Yeah, we just had that last week.
Right.
So yeah, we got some results to talk about. I guess we could talk about results from the FIS Junior World Championships. And so, first of all, Beeve, why should you even care about the FIS Junior Worlds?
Well, yeah, right. You probably shouldn't, but you actually should, because I think a lot of these names are going to be the kids that are coming up. They're going to be filling the shoes in the pros, and basically you're looking into the future here. We're looking at the people that in 2 or 3 years will probably be at the forefront of the sport, right?
I would say, yeah, a lot of the guys that you probably look up to today are former Junior World Champions.
Right.
So, okay, so what do you want to talk about first? You want to go half pipe? You want to go slope style? What do you want to talk about?
Let's go ahead and talk about slope style, because I looked at the slope style today.
What happened in slope style down at Cardrona at the Junior Worlds?
Yeah, so the slope guys was pretty interesting. There was this guy, Nick Vandervelden. Didn't tell me where he was from, actually, but I have to imagine, he's like a Viking or something.
Yeah.
But the kid can just spin like crazy. And if you watch the video, his dub cork 12, you have to like go frame by frame because he's just spinning so much.
Okay. Doesn't go big, but he spins hard.
Yeah, he spins really hard.
Gotcha.
You know, and then there is this, I think there is a conspiracy out there because Japan won everything.
What do you mean they won everything?
I mean, they like won every single event with the exception of maybe like one event. So they
didn't win the half pipe.
They didn't win the half pipe. That's what I'm saying. So they didn't win half pipe, but this guy Takeru Otsuka out of Japan pretty much just dominated the slope. It was pretty sick. He was super tech on the rails. He hand planted and touched this. They had this like little ball that was like sitting on top of like a pole, and you could like hand plant over it. And he did like kind of this like backflip bat wing kind of like Shaun-esque style trick over that, and like.
So even at a young age, he's demonstrating some pretty proficient skill.
Yeah, he was pretty darn proficient. And then he went into like backside dub 12, into cab dub 12, and it was ridiculous. You know, like on a level that just no kid at the FIS Junior World should even be exhibiting. You know. Okay,
so is this kid like a pro rider? I mean, should we heard of him? I know he's from Japan.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because he won X Games men's snowboard big air gold in Norway this spring. I would say, like, on that level, like, would you be going to the FIS Junior World Championships if you just won, like, X Games Big Air?
No, I would be riding powder somewhere.
Right. So you have to go somewhere to prove that you are the best in, like, the Junior Worlds.
That's almost, like, unfair that they would have a kid who won the X Games competing against all these, like, 13 and 14-year-old kids trying to prove themselves, basically, to the world.
Japan is just so unfair, man. They're just, like, they throw these kids out there to just like totally dominate everybody else. They should just have their own like competition, right? Japan Games or something.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I have a lot of respect for the Japanese riders in the backcountry and like in the competition realm. They are like incredibly driven, focused.
Absolutely.
It's pretty impressive, really, watching the Japanese compete.
Impressive to know that actually, like in the halfpipe, in their history in halfpipe in the FIS, the last 4 years they actually dominated at the Junior World Championships. Like, and these names, and this is why this is pertinent to the sport, because like in 2012, Ryu won it. In 2013, Ayumu won it. In 15, it was Raibu. In 2017, it was.
Those are all names that I've heard before.
Yeah,
like
right?
at Grand Prix and at the Olympics, they've all competed in those events.
Sure. So they came up through the Junior World Championships.
Okay.
But this year, what happened in halfpipe? Were they were upset, right?
Yeah, I think Toby Miller won, right?
Yeah, I think that was who won it.
Toby Miller's the kid who like was trailing Shaun around all season. Like he was kind of lockstep with Shaun White. And so I saw him at all the Grand Prix following Shaun around, saw him at the Olympics following Shaun around, and now he's a junior world champion. So he's also a pretty strong rider.
Talk to me just a little bit about Toby and kind of his rise up to this level. Obviously, have you seen Toby ride much?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him ride. He competed in Grand Prix, and he's like definitely like a top 10 guy.
Sure.
But I would say that, following Shaun around, riding with Shaun, and having JJ Thomas as your coach right there, that doesn't hurt.
Right.
And so I would say that Toby Miller will be a name to watch, and certainly he's kind of setting himself up for the next Olympics. Like he's at that age now, 4 years from now or 3 years from now. He could be at the top of the game and one of the favorites to win a medal in 2022 in China. I think it's China.
Yeah.
China.
Nobody
Beijing.
really knows yet.
Yeah,
they haven't
Beijing.
actually voted on it.
They have announced it. But
I know they have.
I'm pretty sure it's Beijing.
I know they have. In your kind of like opinion, looking over like just your history, watching kind of riders coming up, who do you think will actually be in that Olympics? Let's just do this right now. I mean, we're 4 years out.
Okay.
Who do you think has a good shot?
Who has a good shot? I think Ayumu and Scotty James are still going to be on top of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think those two guys are going to be the ones to beat. Probably Ayumu. He's probably going to want to like murder some gold medals.
Right.
Right? Because he got a silver this time, and I know that he wasn't happy about the silver. Most people are, hey, I won a medal at the Olympics. I'm pretty stoked. He was bummed out. Right?
You think Ferguson would be still in that, or is he going to go to the video route and kind of?
I think the Fergusons, they have so much style, right? I would guess, my guess anyway, would be that they go the route of video, and honestly, I would love to see Gabe and Ben Ferguson stick with halfpipe, but it takes so much work to be at the top of the game, and you're risking some pretty serious injuries every time you drop in.
Sure. What about Josie?
I think Josie's definitely going to be driven towards trying to win a medal, and then some other names out there, Pat Bergener from Switzerland. I think he's going to be one to watch. I think we're going to see kind of like a new realm actually in terms of tricks. We're going to see a lot more switch backside spins, and then hopefully we see a lot more style tricks, like combination tricks, where people are doing stuff that has a unique style and something like kind of signature that's all their own.
Right. Anyway, we're kind of getting off track because we were talking about the FIS, and obviously this is the road into the Olympics. I mean, even starting now, 4 years from now. Big Air. Did you look at any of the video of the Big Air at the FIS Junior World Championships?
I did not.
The jump is like massive. It's like 110, 120 foot jump, and like
the
some
13-year-old kids are hitting this.
Yeah,
thing.
like I mean, like the
Do
level.
the girls hit the same jump as the guys?
I have to be honest. I didn't watch a lot of the girls stuff because I don't think FIS actually put it out there. I mean, I looked for a ton of video, but they definitely put this out there. They put the men's Big Air, and if you watch it, I mean, you're kind of like, you look at this jump and it's just like, you're like, how did we get to this level where 13 or 14-year-old kids can hit this jump? And, third place, William Buffy, he was like cab frontside 12ing it and frontside, front
big
10.
whoop, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, but you're like, wow, like 7 or 8 years ago, like this was like video part,
Sure.
Like no one was doing that even. Or maybe they were doing that. But like then you get like, let's see, Luke Winkleman, U.S. guy.
Cool.
Frontside dub 10, tail, backside dub 12, like completely on lock, just like that level, even like dubs back then were rare, right?
Yeah.
Like when did someone do a dub? Like,
I mean, if you want to really go to the genesis of the double cork, that's got to be J.P. Walker.
You're right. You're right.
It is JP Walker.
JP. I'm glad we just went. Yeah.
Yeah.
JP.
I mean, you could give Michael Chuck some credit in the half pipe. You could, there's other guys who are doing.
Sure.
I think like Ben Hinckley was doing double flips, but those weren't like corkscrew, spinning, doubles.
Robot food guy. He, gosh, why am I blanking on his name?
Dave Benedict?
Yeah, Dave Benedict. Yeah. One of my favorite riders of all time. I should not. I should have remembered his name. But Benedict was sick back in the day, and he did do. I want to say that was the first double that I ever saw, like a double cork in the half pipe.
Okay, so who won? Who's the winner, and what'd they do?
Well, big surprise here. Who won the big air? But our X Games Japan kid, Takeru Otsuka. He did. It was sick. Frontside triple 1440, and his second one was cab triple 1440. Like no big deal, and he took it like 30 feet past the actual sweet spotted landing and still stomped the hell out of it. Yeah, I mean, just
that's
massive.
Like on a different level than the kids who got second and third. It sounds like.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like the other ones, they were. Don't get me wrong. Like I couldn't do it. Not even when I was like 19. Yeah.
But no one was doing it when you were 19.
No one was.
Yeah.
No one was. Are you just like ousting me for my age here?
I don't know how old you are.
Yeah, nobody knows. I'm youthful.
Okay, youthful. Your youthful exuberance is apparent.
Right.
Okay.
So big air, yeah. Takeru Otsuka from Japan, pretty much dominated in slope and big air, and so yeah, take a look at those videos. It's pretty impressive.
Okay, so any other events at the Junior Worlds we should talk about? We talked about half pipe, slope, big air. Anything else? Border cross. They have border cross going on.
I didn't really look at too much what was going on the border cross side. Did you?
I think a Russian girl won the border cross, and I think that I didn't really watch it.
Geez, so much for our news show here.
Yeah, well, maybe we should go. We're gonna have to do another take on this. By the way.
No.
Let's keep going though, because we're getting timing down.
I think we're fine. So another event that happened. Excuse me. We can cut this right here. Another event that ended up happening, Mark, was the slalom. Tell me about those results. You researched slalom.
Yes, I researched parallel slalom. I'm actually a closet parallel slalom fanatic.
We all are.
Yes. So anyhow, I looked at it, and here's a crazy thing. Like, actually, both racing events. I'll just summarize it quickly in like one kind of round. But like, okay, so there's like men and women parallel slalom, parallel giant slalom. So there's 12 medals up for grabs, right, at the Junior Worlds.
Yeah.
Gold, silver, bronze. And so anyhow, Russia
Wow.
won 10 of the 12 medals. They like swept both men's podiums, first, second, and third, and then they got 2 out of 3 on both women's podiums.
Interesting. Okay, so Russia wins 10 of 12. What does that usually say? History tells that would say
doping.
Yeah. Maybe doping.
No, I'm kidding.
But history would say that maybe Russia is kind of in front of us here.
Well, I mean, they found their niche. Found their niche, right? And so it's like, hey,
right.
Who's going to be the best racers in the world? It's up for grabs. It's going to be Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, they're ones to watch, and following on the coattails of America turned Russian Vic Wild, who won 2 gold medals in Sochi. They really have embraced the racing, hard boot, wax focused aspect of the sport.
I think this is really progressive of Russia because they're really thinking ahead. Whereas, like,
what do you mean they're thinking ahead?
Well, no, I think that Russia goes like, okay, what do we do? What is the next trend that's going to happen? And because we know that trends are cyclical, Russia's looking at that and going like, well, what's on the far end of snowboarding right now that's going to be back at the top? By the next Olympics, what's going to be the coolest new thing in snowboarding? And they go racing.
No,
no, they do.
No, I'm saying bullshit. Real talk, bullshit.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just trying to just throw some kind of theory out there as to why they're dominating.
Okay.
Well, here's another thing, Beeve. There was an FIS World Cup actually at Cadrona as well this past weekend.
Right.
But instead of going over it with you,
whoa! Pump the brakes, Sully.
I'm gonna call somebody else. I'm gonna call Pat Bridges. Why not? Right? We're gonna find out what Pat thinks about the World Cup, the 1800, etc. So yeah, let's get Pat on the phone. Give me a minute here. Hold on.
Hello.
Pat Bridges, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, I just wanted to call you today as part of our news show for the Snowboard Project and talk to you a little bit about this FIS World Cup that just happened at Cadrona. Did you follow that at all?
I saw a couple things come through my feed. You know, I saw Chris Corning with his winning tricks in the 1800, which was pretty amazing. I mean, he's been doing those 1800 quads for a while. I know snowboarder. He gave me the clip of him doing it at Mammoth over a year ago, and we pushed that out. But yeah, no, I saw that, and then Takeru.
Yeah. What do you know about him? Because we were just discussing him. Beav and I were talking about him just being this guy competing against all these like 13 and 14-year-old kids at the Junior Worlds and clearly being head and shoulders above the rest of the field.
Takeru?
Yeah.
Or Chris Corning?
No, well, Takeru in the Junior Worlds. He won the Junior Worlds slope and big air.
Yeah, well, Takeru is... I think he's like 17 or 18. He's from Japan. Yep. He's actually been on 2 or 3 trips with me the last 2 years. He comes over and does some of our social media content creation. So he's a good kid, and I saw him the last spring in Mammoth and stuff. So, yeah, no, I mean, the depth of talent in Japan is
crazy,
you know. I mean, Smokey's still coming back, but, you know, I mean, it all started with, as far as slopestyle and big air, it all started with, you know, going back like 5-10 years ago with Yuki Kodono, you know, who was winning big airs when he was like 14 and 15 as well.
What about Mons Roisland? What do you know about him? He got third. He rounded out the podium. And I think he did like a triple 1080, backside triple 1080, and then he did a switch backside 1620 to get third. That shows you the level we're at, by the way, right? You got to do a switch backside 16 and a triple 10 to make a podium these days.
Yeah, I mean, I met Mons at like the U.S. Open, a couple events like that, and he's been to Super Park a couple times and stuff. I mean, it all is turning into one real world video game.
Right,
so
right. So what is your take on like the 1800 quad and like just the way that basically the sport has progressed, where it's like, I mean, really, it's like you could almost die doing any one of these tricks and you have so little time to spot your landing, and it really is just, it's almost like a huck to me anyway, where it's like you really have to initiate off the lip and then you're just trying to follow through 3 or 4 flips and 3 or 4 spins or more, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, it's I mean, if somebody from the 1800s who's used to riding a horse, you know, shows up and looks at a NASCAR or Formula One race, they would be just as shocked. So it's like, it's just the nature of progression, and, you know, you adapt, you acclimate to it and stuff. I mean, that's what I'm frustrated by, is that it all comes down to the one place where I think we could affect change as far as this progression comes down to the judging. And unfortunately, I understand why it is the way it is. Mm-hmm. It's that the judges need to be able to, it's not what they think, it's what they can prove. And that's where one more spin, one more flip is what they can prove as far as how they cast judgment. Whereas everything else is more subjective. And that's, unfortunately, if you want to win, you do the calculus and you're like, all right, well, you know, Corning did a quad 18. I got to do another, you know, I got to add another flip or add another spin onto that. And unfortunately, the judges are not giving anybody any other choice.
Yeah, and, you know, I've talked, actually, I did an interview with one of the judges, Istok from Slovenia, and he's like an Olympic judge. He does like the Grand Prix and stuff. That's how I know him. But they're definitely open to that, and they want to just reflect the riders, but that just needs to start happening, right? Because it's like, what are we going to do, quintuple 2160? It's going to be hard to even say these tricks pretty soon, let alone spot them.
Totally. Totally, and unfortunately, the first thing that's going to happen, the minute that they have a gut check and they try to right the ship, first thing that's going to happen is 5 riders who did spin and did flip more than somebody who makes podium, with more style. The minute that happens, coaches, parents, riders, so they're all just going to gang up on the judges. Once they create this anomalous track that sort of writes the course. I mean, I get why we arrived where we are.
Yep.
And in my way, I've tried to affect change where I can.
Yep.
With events like the Do Tour, but I mean, again, you're still dealing with the same sort of factors and the same pushback from the riders. I mean, there are riders who built their careers and stand out, for their style and their aesthetic. And yet when you present to these riders like, hey, what about doing mandatory straight airs on the first hit in the half pipe at the Do Tour? They balk. And it's kind of crazy because, unfortunately, it takes a mandate like that in order for the tide to shift. Yep. But the riders, even the most stylish and the guys with the most amplitude, who have the most to gain, theoretically, from this sort of approach, they're even hesitant because, they sit there and they go, hey, it's freedom, it's freestyle, we should be able to do what they want. But they aren't even realizing they're not doing what they want. They're doing what the judges want or the coaches want. And that's kind of crazy, and it's you got to have a lot of constitution to buck that. So
yeah, I know. And you're seeing like a lot of Instagram clips of people bucking it, but it occurs to me anyway that like, judging 10 different triple 14s, it's like, okay, who had the cleanest landing? Because in the air, they're all relatively the same. So it's actually almost harder to judge the same thing maybe than doing something different? Or do you think it's actually easier to judge when everyone does the same trick?
Well, I mean, when it comes to that, the people who really know are the riders themselves.
Yep. And
that's where they step back and they go, well, that person's only grabbing mute on all their triples. Or, this, that, or the other thing. So that's where it's funny when you see certain riders the riders all know which grabs are the hardest to do. And that's where they actually, it might seem like they're nitpicking, but they'll step right up and be like, hey, why did this person beat me, when in all actuality, they're just doing the easiest grab on those tricks. But unfortunately, what's not in the calculus is what you, me, the viewers see as, start quickly becoming like desensitized to the nuance of it, because you can't discern what's going on a micro level.
Yeah. Did you know that Corning's other trick that he did was a frontside 14 chicken salad was his second trick that he had. You know how like the format works where it's like you got to do two different spins. So he did the 18 quad, and then he did a 1440 frontside chicken salad as his other trick. How's that? That's not an easy grab.
No, involves both hands. But I'm thinking of Swiss cheese. But to be perfectly frank, aside from what's come through my feed, we don't put a lot of onus on FIS events, particularly in non-Olympic years.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's like, hey, what's going on this week in snowboarding? Oh, the FIS held a World Cup in Cadrona. The Junior Worlds happened, and there's not really. We're a little early in the season for a lot to be going on. But I wanted to get your expert opinion because you are the expert. So that's why I called you up, because I know that you had some great feedback. One more question before I let you go, Pat. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, but do you think that like this progression is going to a point where there's going to start being like more and more catastrophic injuries? Because it occurs to me that these guys are spinning so hard and going so big to pull off these tricks that it's like we're going to start seeing more and more injuries because of it. Maybe particularly in the half pipe, but probably in slope and big air as well.
Well, I mean, the same could have been said, 20 years ago when Kevin Jones and UC were doing, 900s.
Yep.
And people did say it, I think, I don't see, perhaps with half pipe, but the fact of the matter is the impacts, in all actuality, it's probably safer doing, an 1800 quad on these perfectly designed jumps than it was doing a 900 on, a couple mounds that were thrown together, 20 years ago.
That's a really good point. I had never actually framed it like that, though. So thanks for setting me straight, because that is absolutely true. The jumps used to be so bad, and now they're like, they really have been refined to the point where they're like predictable in a way they never were 20 years ago.
Totally, and it's like it just comes down to skill, like in repetition. So it's like, you almost have as much of a margin of error if you're doing a 720 or a 360. I mean, if you do, 100 triple corks into the progression bag and then take it to the snow and do 100 more triple corks, you're not going any bigger than if you did a 360.
Right.
So, I mean, the wind can take you. I mean, as we saw in South Korea, that was a factor. But it's like the wind can take you on a 720 just as it could take you on a triple cork. So it's like, the challenge is people building their skill set to the point where they're just as comfortable doing those tricks as they are 360 or 720, which, like I said, with a progression sack and repetition, you can get to that point. So I don't. Right. I mean, what I'm most fascinated about is, I think in halfpipe, it changes because you control how big you go.
Right.
Whereas there's a defined sweet spot that everybody hits no matter what trick they do. And, like you're going to take the same speed to do this trick as you're going to take for this trick. There's no variable of speed that you're going to take to do that triple or that quad. The bigger challenge is the fact that as these tricks get bigger, you'd need to have the hang time. And that's where at a lot of these big air contests, and that's why we didn't see quads in slope at South Korea, is because these guys are out riding the jumps that are being built for them. And that's where the danger falls in, is if these guys go, okay, well, that's the sweet spot, but I need another split second of hang time to get my full rotation. So I'm going to take my air deep into that landing. Now that's a calculated risk that the riders are taking. They know that they're increasing their margin and the hazard, but they're doing it because they want to do the tricks. They want to win. And they're out riding the feature. But in halfpipe, that's where gravity and physics are limiting, and balls are limiting how fast you go into that wall and how big you go on that double cork.
Yeah.
And on that, 14. And that's where you actually can control how much variable and hazard you're opening yourself up to. I mean, if you go and you do a double cork, 15 feet out, or you do one 25 feet out, you are increasing the danger.
Yeah, totally.
And then if we go into the triple cork territory, then 25 feet out is where you're going to have to learn to live in the halfpipe.
Yeah, and you know what? When it goes to 16 in the halfpipe, it's like that last rotation will be blind, and then it's like that adds a whole new level of danger, I would think. If you're coming in blind over your shoulder over that sharp lip, let's say from 25 feet out, doing a triple 16 in the pipe, I could see there being some bad results, bad consequences from learning those tricks.
Yeah, but I mean, a 360 is blind in the halfpipe.
Right.
So, it all comes down to amplitude, and that's where there's more danger. I mean, blind tricks have more danger than non-blind tricks, but, height is the variable that really multiplies the... Sorry about that. FedEx is showing up.
All right.
But amplitude is what's going to really multiply the hazard.
Cool. Oh, and I just want to mention before I let you go, on the women's side, we had Reira Iwabuchi, great Japanese rider, did 2 7s, front side 7 and back side 7, I think. And then Miyaba Onitsuka from Japan, and then Claudia Medlova from Slovakia, I believe, got third for the women. Any comments on the girls?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing amazing, and there's about a dozen other girls that could have made that podium, so we are definitely seeing, the same progression we're seeing with the guys. We're seeing it shadowed by the girls, and it's awesome. And it's in all aspects and stuff. And, Claudia is one of those, she was kind of late to the double cork parade, but she was still one of the pioneers,
Right.
And now, you're seeing, 15, 20-year age difference between, certain girls that could be sharing podiums, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, that's our FIS World Cup roundup from New Zealand. And thank you, Pat Bridges, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend himself. So thank you for your time, Pat. I appreciate it.
Anyways, let's. What else should we? What should we move on to now? We kind of covered FIS and the news there. Let's go into what about like weather? How does weather sound?
Oh man, let's talk about this season because now the Farmer's Almanacs come out.
Yep.
What does the Farmer's Almanac say about this season?
Well, the Farmer's Almanac is kind. Let me just pull this up really quick.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just on my computer. The Farmer's Almanac, if you go to their site, it's really awesome because they just really give you this like graphical that they don't have you go through like their, hundreds of years of actual like, meteorology.
How accurate is this going to be anyway?
Well, I think I've looked at the Farmer's Almanac and been like, this winter's going to be sick. And then I'm like, this winter was subpar.
Yeah.
But I would say 2 out of 3 times they're kind of spot on. So, but I totally just bagged on them right there. But anyways, if you go to the farmersalmanac.com, you can see what's going on. It's saying that the Northwest, where we're at in Idaho, is going to be pretty much a typical winter temps, but it's going to be quote unquote wet, which I kind of hope is the case because if it's wet in the Northwest, it'll come in.
I heard that it's going to be an El Nino. Like there's like a 70% chance of El Nino this year. Yeah,
I hope so. Typically when we have an El Nino year, the West gets crushed, right?
Yeah, I mean that's like the best years in Alaska, in Washington,
right,
and even in Idaho. Yeah, so California Mammoth will have a good season if there is an El Nino.
Right, if there is an El Nino. The Farmer's Almanac is saying kind of like for the California, kind of I guess Southwest, kind of average precipitation, but we can all hope for California's sake that they get a lot of precipitation,
right,
just enough not to create a mudslide. Right.
Well, unlike you, I'm not a science denier. So when I think about weather, I think about NOAA, the National Organization of Oceanic, and I don't even know what NOAA stands for.
I just get confused when I go on NOAA's site. Like I don't know why.
Well, yeah, I mean it's hard to summarize the NOAA stuff, but it looks like Alaska's going to have a good season. The Northwest will have a good season. And it looks like it's going to be wet in the Southeast, right? But really, it's like I would say that, most signs point to basically, the Northwest having a pretty good season. And they're saying that basically there's a 70% chance of an El Nino. And, it's like knock on wood. I hope it's a good season in Alaska.
Yeah. I'm looking at like the Midwest. It's saying this is Farmer's Almanac. Teeth chattering cold, plentiful snow. Yeah, teeth chattering. See, I like how they give you like you're like it's gonna be cold, and then you get into like like the Great Lakes area. It's like biting cold.
Oh, so they have like these various descriptive words.
Yep. Yeah, and like the New England.
So what's colder, biting cold or teeth chattering cold?
I'm gonna go with biting cold. I think like if you ever like I can be teeth chattering cold, but when you're on like a snowmobile and you can't feel your fingers and it's just like needles going in, like or little chipmunks biting your fingers. It's like that's biting cold. That's painful.
Okay.
The Northeast. We should talk about the Northeast because it says cold and white and a chilly wintry mix.
Cold and white and a chilly wintry mix.
I wonder who's the guy that like comes up with this graphical that's like,
well,
this year I have to come up with a new descriptive word.
NOAA, it looks like they're saying that above average temperatures, average snow for the Northeast. So that's what you get.
Okay, that's
all right,
what you get.
That's our weather report anyway.
That's our weather report.
Season outlook, we'll call that the season outlook.
Hey, what's up, guys? Beef here. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, please consider going and giving us a review. Find us on Apple iTunes, find us somewhere on the internet, and let your friends know that, hey, there's a subpar snowboard cast out there. And maybe it's a little better than subpar. I don't know, but let's be real about it. If you're enjoying,
that's real talk.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
Yeah.
So we'd appreciate it if you let us know what we're doing great. We are going to evolve as we go. This will be something that will grow and hopefully get better over time. And
or you can email us directly, mark@thesnowboardproject.com or beeve@thesnowboardproject. You got your own email address, Beeve.
Whoa,
You
hold
do.
up. I
It's
got
set
my
up.
own email address.
You do. It's set up.
My phone number is 626-484-38021. It's also the hostel phone number if you'd like
Shut
to
the
make
fuck, Beeve. There's no ads.
Always trying to interject.
I know,
a
you're always
sponsorship.
trying to just slip that in there.
Hey, if you want to be our real sponsor, if you want to help us keep doing this, go check out patreon.com/the Snowboard Project and help us keep doing this. Patreon.com/the Snowboard Project.
So we got some other news going on, though. Did you know that Eddie Wall is starting a snowboarding camp?
I did not know that.
Okay,
I
let
did
me just
not know.
read you a couple
Yeah,
lines from his
tell me
press
about his snowboard camp. I'm interested because Eddie
Okay.
obviously is a legend in the sport of snowboarding.
Totally. So,
and he's a fun guy, so I'm sure his camp is going to be pretty dang fun.
yeah, so this is coming out of Los Angeles. It says, former professional snowboarder Eddie Wall and his business partner Courtney Bloom announced today the launch of Elite Training Camp, etc. ETC is a snowboard and ski camp that will be held in unique locations around the world.
Time out. Wait. We need to go back. They named their snowboard camp ETC.
Etc.
So every time that you read it, you just say etc. because
I'm going to call it etc.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We'll call it etc.
Etc. will host the inaugural camp in partnership with Ski Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Elite Training Camp is proud to have 2018 Olympic gold medalist Red Gerard and X Games gold medalist Tom Wallish as their guest coaches. So that'll be going down. Let's see when the dates are. October 14th to 18th, Dubai, UAE, and that's the etc. camp.
Let me just get this straight. Okay, Eddie, we love you, man, but like etc. camp is happening in like 3.5 weeks in Dubai, and basically you're just announcing this August 20. When did he announce it? August 28th?
Yeah, something like that. August, the end of August.
Gosh, dude.
Yeah, 27th.
Not giving me enough lead time to get my flight there, Eddie.
You can get a flight to Dubai. I mean, if you can afford Dubai, then you can afford to buy a flight there at any time.
You can afford to buy a flight there.
No doubt. So, and yeah, I can just imagine like all these kids like aspiring what would you call them, Dubanese?
Okay, yeah.
These Dubanese kids showing up with like to the ski dome with their like Lambos with like ski racks on them. You know, like a purple Lamborghini with like a ski rack on it with like a brand new, 2022 Burton Custom. Because they get like all the stuff ahead of time in Dubai.
Oh man, Hassan just rolled up in his, Aston Martin or something crazy power car with like,
I can just visualize. I mean, the vision in my head is probably, probably more interesting than the reality.
Does he have a ski rack or a rocket box?
I think he probably has the rocket box, and here's why. Probably carbon fiber rocket box.
Right, carbon fiber.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, how can you have your whole quiver with you on a ski rack? There just isn't enough room in the ski rack to have your quiver that you're going to need for Ski Dubai.
Right, a Dubai quiver, man. You got to have a lot because there's a lot of different challenging terrain. I mean, what if you get powder that day?
Yeah, totally. Totally. So, and my guess is, honestly, is like Dubai's paying Eddie to do this.
Right.
There's a lot of money in Dubai. My guess is they're throwing down the coin to fly those guys over there to bring the medalists in and to basically have this kind of like shaking babies, kissing ladies kind of camp there for in 3 or 6 weeks or whatever, 5 weeks, whenever it is.
We're just going to announce this and just expect. So read the rest of that press release. Let's
the rest. I won't read the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'll just read the quote here at the bottom. Snowboarding has brought me to Ski Dubai 3 times, and I always thought it would be an awesome location to have a camp. The idea is to create a snowboard and ski camp that essentially travels to different locations. There are tons of kids who would love to go to snowboard camps, but they live too far away. We would like to bring...
Time out. I live in Idaho, Eddie. Like, too far away?
Okay.
I'm not
we
even remotely
want to bring
close.
the camp to them. they're going to bring the camp to the kids, right? So I think that Ski Dubai is the first one. Maybe they'll do one in Pennsylvania. Maybe they'll do one in Colorado. Who knows where?
Right.
But, I mean, now you got Woodward. They got a facility in Colorado at Copper. They got one in Tahoe.
Yep.
And so, these camp kind of things are popping up. But you know what? I bet they've never had a snowboard camp at like Ober-Gatlinburg in Tennessee.
Sure. Yeah.
That's Ski Dubai of the Southeast.
Gatlinburg, Tennessee, right next to like the Ripley's Believe It or Not or something.
Yeah, totally. It's like it's a year-round resort, actually.
Right. Well, that's
Okay,
pretty.
so that's
That's
Ski
pretty
Dubai.
interesting.
That-
Ski
there's
Dubai,
that.
Eddie Wall, camp, etc.
Okay, so here's some more news.
Okay.
The park at Hintertux is going to be opening October 4th, right? So they're going to have already, like, Europe is starting their season.
Are you kidding me?
No, they have like glaciers. Like in Europe, there's a lot more glacier skiing
Right.
or whatever. And so actually, like they basically have skiing year round in Central Europe, in like Switzerland, Austria. I think probably in Northern Italy, France. They have year round skiing.
So we're just going to open it up October 4th. And,
Yeah, they're going to build their park. I think it's called the Hot Zone.tv park. And so yeah, it's Hintertux October 4th to 7th. I guess they have a host. They're going to host a heap of activities to ring in the new winter.
I wonder what things they're going to do. They'll be like,
Let's see. I'm going to look through this.
Vanderbeek, we are going to go play the broomball on the ice rink.
Okay,
That was dumb, but like at the same time, like what fun events are they going to
who's who of the snowboard industry there.
Oh, so like a meet and greet with some cheese and crackers?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
And there's also going to be an alarm clock battle with prize money up for grabs. What do you think an alarm clock battle is? Who makes it up there first?
Yeah, right.
Who actually pulls himself out of bed?
It's like, Sven was up here at 7:15.
I know. So anyhow, Hintertux, October 4th. If you're in Europe listening in, check that out though, because that'll be cool. Like good kickoff of the season.
Right. What should we go into next, Mark? What do you think?
Oh man, we got some. I guess we could do some of our. We got some other segments we could do. I guess maybe we'll announce our winner of the Burton Elite 150 every week. We're giving away a piece of snowboard history. I've collected snowboard history for like 30 years. Hauled this stuff all around the country. And you know what? It's like after I was able to build my cabin, my dream house in Alaska, like in the middle of the back. Anyhow, we're not going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about is that like I threw the rear view mirror out the window, and so I'm going to be giving away my whole collection of snowboarding. So this week's giveaway, or last week's giveaway, I should say.
Really quickly, just how do you actually get in on this giveaway?
So you go to patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. You donate money to make this podcast possible.
Right.
And then if you're a supporter of the podcast, your name goes into the raffle for our weekly snowboard history giveaway. So this week's giveaway is a 1988 Burton Elite 150. And
that would be a sweet board to put on the wall.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool board. You can see photos of it on our patreon.com page. And next week we're giving away a trophy from the U.S. Open.
Whose trophy
I
did you
think
take?
it might be Daniel Franck.
Wait, you're giving away Daniel Frank's trophy?
Best trick 2001 Big
What was
Air.
his best trick?
I don't know.
You don't even know, but he probably...
No, and he didn't know. He left. Like, I was the announcer of that contest, so I basically was standing there, and then just like the crowd disappeared, and I'm standing there by myself with this trophy that weighs, by the way, like 20 pounds, and you're going to have to pay for the shipping on both the board and the trophy, depending on who wins it, but you have to pay your own shipping on the raffle giveaway. But I'm standing there, and it's like now it's like 10 at night, and I'm the only one standing there. I got this trophy, and I'm like, well, screw it. I'm just going to bring it back to my hotel, try to get this to him later. So I dragged this thing around for like 25 years. I mean, this is like 2001. No, it's over like for 17 years I've been carrying this thing around, and like it weighs like 30 pounds.
No way.
And
so you're giving away Daniel Frank's trophy.
Yeah, best trick, U.S. Open 2001.
I'm sure
I don't want it anymore.
I'm sure there was a double poke in there.
There probably was.
Yeah,
that's
probably why he won, because he double poked.
Yeah. So anyhow, he didn't show up to the award ceremony, which is like, that's bad style in my book anyway.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to win the contest, you might as well show up to take the prize.
Dude, back in the day, like Daniel Frank, I guess would be the equivalent of like my Man Crush Monday.
What's Man Crush Monday?
I figured it was a segment that we just throw out there.
Okay, let's do it. Man Crush Monday.
Man Crush Monday.
Man Crush Monday.
Let's go back to 1999. Who was your man crush?
What do you mean, my man crush?
Who was like the snowboarder that you were like, oh man, if I could like hang out with him like Toby Miller hangs out with Shaun White, who was your man crush. I'm serious.
Well, see, the thing is, in like 1999, I was the editor of Snowboarder magazine.
Okay, so you were hanging
and so
out with
I
your
wasn't
man
able
crushes.
to play favorites back then. I had to be pretty much unbiased.
Okay, let's just say.
But
that,
who do I look up to? Who do I think was like a good rider
exactly.
back then? 99. Let's see. That would probably be. I don't know. I'm kind of old school, so I would probably still. Okay, so in my book, like the rider with the best style of all time was Nate Cole.
Cole.
And you know what? Even to this day, if you were like, who's like the most stylish rider? It's like Nate Cole, right? And it's like, because he did these like flat ollies and all this stuff, and he just had his own style, made it his own, made it look easy. And so yeah, Nate Cole. How about you? Who's your man crush?
I just said it. I just I remember just being like, I wanted one of those Atlantis boards so bad that Daniel had, and I remember just every trick that he did in the Halfpipe he would tweak twice. It was just like he was on this like different level. It was pretty sick, but.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I should reassess, because 99 was a great year in snowboarding. There were a lot of really good riders at that time.
There was a lot going on.
I do remember that. So, I was just throwing it out there because you have Daniel Frank's trophy that you're going to be giving away.
Right.
And maybe that's something that needs to
maybe you should donate to the maybe you should
I need to donate, and then I can put it on the wall at the Hot Water Inn, and everybody can come in and check it out.
Okay, so the winner of today's, and I'm just going to
Oh my gosh, did you? Okay, you don't even want to know what just happened. Mark Sullivan just broke a chair. He broke a chair. Sullivan, this is actually crazy. He went to clap and he broke a chair.
Okay.
That just happened in the studio.
New chair.
So Mark Sullivan is actually going to announce. We're going to put this segment in there because Mark's going to go live to where he is going to be announcing the winner. Hopefully, he won't break a chair there. You just broke like $100 chair in the end.
This is not
If anybody would like to donate for us to get a new chair at the Hot Water Inn, you can go to patreon.com/Hot Water Inn.
I totally
new
broke
chair.
that chair. Dude, this thing is not going back. This is unfixable, by the way.
This is the best first. No, that is completely unfixable.
Yeah.
This is the first best episode of Real Talk because Real Talk, Mark Sullivan just broke a chair, getting so excited about giving away a Burton
how I
lead.
do this. So when you subscribe at Patreon, I put your name on a spreadsheet, and depending on your level of sponsorship, you get a row or 2 or 3 rows in my spreadsheet. And then the morning of the drawing, I make sure my spreadsheet is updated, and I go to random.org, and there's a random integer generator. I generate 1 integer and get a number, and so that's exactly what I did. And so I just generated an integer, and I lined that up with a row, and so the winner of the 1988 Burton Elite 150 is gonna be, ding, drum roll please, Trevor Graves. Yes, the Trevor Graves. Thank you, Trevor, for your support. And by the way, I haven't written you an email yet. I've been meaning to. Those photos that you took of me when I was a kid, that was on that little jump drive that you gave me, amazing. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for your support, and thank you for just being an inspiration in my life and career. So Trevor Graves, our first winner. Next week we'll be giving away the U.S. Open trophy, U.S. Open 2001 Big Air Best Trick. I'll be giving that trophy away next week, but congratulations to Trevor Graves, our first snowboard history winner. And you can email me, by the way, to collect your prize, mark@thesnowboardproject.com. Thanks again, Trevor. Have an awesome day. What segment would we got a couple of like little segments that we like talked about. Some stuff we can just talk about here on our Real Talk.
Yeah, Real Talk.
Yeah. Let's do some real talk here. What do we got to talk real about?
What do we need to talk real about? Oh, hey, you know what? We should actually announce, we should do like a police blotter every week. So
how does that work?
Yeah, we're asking you, the audience, basically to send us a story, either on Facebook or Instagram, about a buddy that got arrested. Okay, that got arrested in a ski town. Like, I want to know some like meat stories, like
real talk.
Yeah, like and arrested for something really stupid or awesome or something
I
that's
almost
gonna
got
be hilarious.
arrested.
You did. How did you almost get arrested?
This is pretty funny. So I'm at Copper Mountain. This is like 92. And back then there was a leash law in Colorado. And this is back in the days when like basically skiers hated snowboarders.
Okay.
They thought we were like gangbangers or something. I don't know. Anyhow, the ski patrol hated us at Copper. And so this guy determines that I came too close to a family riding by. I was too close to them. I didn't know that there were rules on proximity, but I didn't hit him, didn't touch him, but it was too close. So he pulls me over, like flags me down, pulls me over. And he's like, oh, you were too close. Starts reading me the riot act, this and that. And he's like, oh, you don't have a leash. That's it. You're going to jail. And
Because
I was
you didn't
like,
have a leash.
because I didn't have a leash, a snowboard leash, right? Literally, he's like, you're going down.
Wow.
You're going down. You're going to jail. And I was just like, so he like follows me to the bottom of the hill, and I unstrap, and I'm looking at this guy like unstrapping his like unwieldy ski boots, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm running. And I fucking take off running. And I literally had like I don't know, 4 or 5 ski patrollers from Copper tried to chase me in ski boots, clack, 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 into the parking lot. And I got away. But because I was wearing snowboard boots.
They were all wearing ski boots.
I literally took off running and ran to my car and just took off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that one was that's a pretty good one for like police
But
blotter.
I wasn't arrested though, so I was in the police blotter.
Like something like, okay, so like in Mammoth, like 2001. I'll throw another one out there.
Okay.
Like our buddy Chris Johnston. And if you know Chris Johnston, he was actually on. There was an MTV show where they took somebody that never snowboarded before and they made them a snowboarder. Do you remember that show? It was like MTV's like Made. That's what it was. He was on Made, and he was one of like the coaches on Made. And Chris Johnston's a good friend of mine, but he was a loose cannon. And if you lived in Mammoth in those years, you knew Chris Johnston. He hung out with Danny and Dingo and all those guys. That was kind of his crew. And I think what ended up happening was that Chris is a dumbass, one, but two, like a couple of his friends got arrested. I want to say maybe like Clancy and Danny, and they take him down to the Mammoth police station, and they're locked up. And Chris Johnston, drunk off his ass, decides that he's going to protest at the Mammoth Police Department at like 2 a.m.
He's gonna pick at the police station.
Yeah, no, it was like him and someone else. I can't
Two
remember
people
who else.
protesting?
Yeah, and so they're like protesting the arrest of their friends, probably for like underage drinking. And finally, the cops are like, just don't make us come out there. Don't make us arrest. They're laying down in the street. I don't know. They might be just like putting rocks in front of the like doorways or whatever they're doing. I just imagine Chris just going like, oh, I got this great idea. We should like protest. We should protest their arrest. And so he's laying down in the street outside the thing, and they finally just come out and they're like, all right, do you want to be arrested? And they arrest him, but they don't put him in the same cell as the guys. They just like lock him to the wall, and then like the next minute they put him in the cruiser and they drive him all the way to like, I want to say like Gardner or Carson. They're like somewhere like
they brought to Gardnerville.
Maybe not. Maybe they took him down to Bishop.
Gardnerville's like the state lockup or whatever. That's like the real jail.
They like took him there because they didn't have any room in the little jails here, or over in Mammoth. They didn't have any room in that, and so they ended up like shipping him off somewhere. And I just was like, wow, that really accomplished a lot, fellas. 48 hours later, they came back. They're like, we protested. Our buddy's getting
and they got arrested for it.
Yeah, and then they got arrested and shipped somewhere else. They didn't even get to hang out with them. So that would be like sweet police blotter.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Johnston, if you're out there, which he probably is listening to this.
He's gonna hear this story for sure.
Right. Lots of stories about Chris Johnston.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's do another segment. Let's go into another segment here because we got a few different segments we're gonna try to integrate with our weekly show, our weekly current events, news, and also just having fun, enjoying snowboarding, having a good time with the sport and ourselves.
Oh, you know what I think would be really fun?
What?
Let's go into number 33 this week in Shaun White.
This week
in Shaun White.
So the way this works, I think what we should do is like pull up Shaun White's Instagram, and just see what he's doing. Like the other day, Shaun was
What's Shaun doing?
Shaun was in Copenhagen skateboarding.
Inquiring minds want to know what's Shaun White doing today,
and he's like sitting there like a cafe, like kind of bummed out because like there's a skate contest happening, and he wants to go skate this park. And then
he's got a new post.
Yeah, and then he gets more and more bummed out because there was like a girls' skate contest going on. And maybe he wasn't all that bummed, but I watched it once and went like,
okay, man.
Okay, what is that? I hear a child screaming.
Here's his like Instagram. I'll play it right into the microphone.
Okay, play it into the microphone. Here's Shaun White's. This is his Insta story.
Shaun White. Do you want to meet him? How come? Why is he your favorite?
He's the best snowboarder.
And what else?
Oh my gosh!
And what else? We're not going to find out what else.
There was nothing else in that Insta story?
That was it. That was the whole story right there.
There's no way. The last time I went on there was like 20.
That's his new story today. You know, there's a lot of photos I'm looking at here. There's a lot of photos of Shaun White here without shirt, wearing no shirt.
I think that's Shaun's thing. So there was really no more Insta stories. Okay, all right.
No, I mean.
But we should at least.
There's a lot of photos of him skating bowls. Mm-hmm. Looks like he's getting ready for the 2020 Olympics, or at least trying to figure out whether he's going to have what it takes.
Why don't you pull that up? Because I know, like, okay, look, you guys out there, we are going to check in on snowboarders from time.
Shaun White.
No. I'm saying pull up the one where he's talking about his 2020 Olympic run. If you didn't know this, we should probably let you know that. Shaun White announced something around July, I think, 2nd or 3rd.
He actually announced at the Olympics that he would make a bid.
Oh, he did.
He did. He actually came on record saying, "Okay, here's this one right
here." All right, here he is talking about.
Oh wait, I got
make this video and explain to everybody my goals for the future. After the Sochi Olympics, I didn't take the time to make a video like this.
He didn't. He was so busy.
Which was really unfortunate and
on tour.
Not the case. I've entered myself in a couple skateboard competitions this summer.
Okay.
I haven't officially decided to go for the Summer Olympics.
Wait, you haven't?
2020 in Japan.
What about that announcement you made in Korea?
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit.
Out at these events and see where I stack up with the other skaters, then make the decision. But
it's not worth doing if you can't win.
Yeah, seriously, you got it.
Oh, there he said he's not retired from snowboarding. So he's still our favorite snowboarder, Beeve. That's right. Your man crush is still intact. Your modern man crush.
Dude, modern.
Probably take a lighter snowboarding season next year.
Bummer.
But, man, if I could make Summer Olympic team going from winter in Korea to summer in Japan, I mean, it would probably be the ultimate for me. So,
winter in Korea,
for the journey, and,
summer in
wish me
Japan.
luck. Hey,
it's not just a dream come true for you, Shaun.
Yeah, seriously,
for
Shaun.
everyone who's tuning in
to
This Week in Shaun White. It's a dream come true.
It's a dream come true. And by the way, like, it would be a dream come true to go from, I don't know, Korea to Japan. I mean, like,
where do you go next? Vietnam?
Seriously, I mean, he's probably, how much is Shaun's worth? Like what, $50 million?
At least.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
he has his own flavor of gum. He was like the spokesperson for Target with like his own line of clothing in Target stores.
Oh, crazy.
Anyhow, that's why we have This Week in Shaun White.
Oh, because
you know what? We need to know what Shaun's doing. I mean, that's kind of someone's got to be red leader.
I think somebody just has to, give a little like poke to Shaun, Maybe we'll get him on the. That was really bad sounding, huh? Like kind of rib him a little bit.
Rib him, poke.
we got to.
Well, now that you made it, now that you framed it like that.
Conversely, then we should probably do This Week in. Who's another really who have we been looking at on Instagram every once in a while that's been pretty riveting.
I don't know. I look at I like the Norwegians. I always look at the Norwegians for their tricks. Like I'll look at like Torgeir or like Stale Sandbech. They're in New Zealand right now.
Okay,
and they're they've been doing some hellying. They've been riding the parks down there. But man, I tell you what, these combination tricks are coming to light now.
Is Stale getting into the combo tricks?
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say everyone is really. I'd say that's something that is going to happen. And so the progression of snowboarding, I think, will start to depart from just adding 180s, basically.
Gotcha.
And that's something that I think that needs to happen anyway.
So you've been scoping Stale's Instagram?
Yeah.
You know whose Instagram I've been scoping lately that I've been pretty stoked on?
Who?
I mean, it just like ran across my feed the other day.
Okay.
And it's
I'm gonna go on Instagram right now so I can
go on
check
Instagram
this out.
So you can bring it up. But,
I'm gonna bring it up.
and you wouldn't think of this person because they're just kind of on the. I mean, you do, but not really. But like, have you seen Lindsay Jacobellis' Instagram lately?
Check this out. Don't tell me. Let me look.
Okay. Don't go too descriptive because it's really.
Okay, wait. Let me just find this. Oh, I can't even spell. Lindsay.
How long have you been announcing Lindsay Jacobellis?
Since she was like a kid.
Since she was like a kid. So this is someone that you've known since like being a kid, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So.
Holy shit!
Slowly. Don't get going too crazy. It came across my Insta feed the other day. I was like, Lindsay Jacobellis.
Oh, man. Oh, my
Sullivan,
God.
Stop. Oh, my gosh. This is... Okay, well, explain what's going on.
Okay, so, I'm familiar with Lindsay Jacobellis. Right. I've seen her a lot, like, wearing, like, puffy jackets and snowboarding clothes. God, she is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop right there. She is absolutely beautiful. She is gorgeous.
Lindsay
I had no idea that she was like model status.
Do you think Lindsay is in
this?
Wow.
Oh my God, she is so hot.
Okay, Sullivan, question for you. So we've seen Lindsay obviously come up and be dominant in women's border cross for so many years.
Yeah.
Wearing her puffy coat since she's 13. I'm just trying to like dial you back. I'm trying to dial you back for a quick second. But like, no, seriously, like, do you think Lindsay is on this path of like, okay, now I have to transition in my life and go like, okay, I am a dominant snowboarder. Will I still be there, or should I start looking somewhere? Should I, look for a career, or like maybe that's modeling? I don't know.
It could be modeling, honestly.
It could be modeling.
You should follow Lindsay on Instagram, that's for sure.
There you go.
But,
shout out to Lindsay.
I know that she moved to Southern California, and she's doing a lot of surfing.
Gotcha.
And judging by all the bathing suit photos, she's been doing a lot of surfing.
Hey, what's up, guys? Beef here. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, we'd appreciate it if you went and reviewed us. Like, go somewhere like on Apple iTunes or somewhere and let us know what you think about us. We want to make this for you, and we want to improve as we go along.
This is going to evolve as time goes on, the whole project, right? And we want to involve our listeners as well because, snowboarding is something best done with friends.
Wow, that sounded really, really nice.
I thought it sounded kind of cheesy after it came out of my mouth.
I can't believe it came out of your... Well, I can believe it came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/The Snowboard Project. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's do another one.
Should we do one more segment and then our last segment of trivia?
Okay.
So we need to choose something.
Who's on drugs?
Bozung.
Okay. Bozung. Okay, I'll
no.
Do we discuss it?
No, let's make.
I was thinking about like a crazy trick.
Right.
Like, are you on drugs? Are you crazy? It's like kind of like, are you crazy? Not like who's literally on drugs.
Yeah, let's not do like who's literally on drugs. Let's do who's so crazy they must be on drugs.
Yeah, it must be on drugs.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and nominate the Russian Junior World Champions.
All of them.
Well, the 10 out of 12 that won every event in Cardrona.
They start them young in Russia.
They do. Who are you going to go with? Who's on drugs this week?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Stale. Stale, he keeps posting these awesome photos. He posted last week he had a bunch of different photos posted from New Zealand. But, man, that kid is like inspirational to me as a grown man. So... Not many guys younger than me that I think have
he is inspirational to me as a grown man.
Well, you know what? It's like I don't look up to 16-year-olds. I'm not going to look up to some kid who's like 16 and be like, well, I want to be just like him.
Though he's
But Stale,
8 inches
I respect.
shorter.
I think he's like kind of the second coming of Danny Cass as far as like he kind of like has this. He's dominant as far as riding goes. He does stuff his own way. Like he does tricks that no one else does, and he has like an attitude to him. He's not just going to like be a sheep, right?
Gotcha.
And so that's why I think Stale is like one of my favorite riders, top 3 riders right now.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So Stale is your man crush right now, right?
Right now, probably
right now.
so. Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Monday, September 10th, 2018. My man crush is Stale. Okay, so we're going to do any other segments? Or are we going to go into our trivia? We're going to wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go into our trivia. So every week we are going to do trivia for you, and these are things that hopefully you'll take a moment to try and like find. And really the reason is, one, to have a little fun, and two, maybe make you like think about researching some of the stuff in the past, right? So that it's informational and it gets you to dig a couple things up. So,
what do you win if you like win the trivia? Is it the first person to answer it? Is it?
No, I think we go cumulative. But why don't you tell something that they could win for this week? But I think we do like a cumulative like Super Bowl at the end where it's like the biggest best prize comes through winning all the trivia, like the most trivia you possibly can. Is that possible?
Let's see. Yeah. How about a Tailgate Alaska t-shirt?
Tailgate Alaska t-shirt this week?
Yeah, sure.
Do they pay shipping? You pay shipping.
They pay shipping.
I'm losing money every single day that we do another one of these shows. I lose money, so you can at least pay the shipping, or donate to patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. That's how you support our independent voice in media, and hopefully we can break even at some point in time.
Mark Sullivan just bought coffees for both of us this morning, meaning we are $6 in the hole.
Yeah, $6 in the hole.
And coffeed up.
And coffeed up, more importantly.
We're really not $6.
Plus, I broke a $100 chair, apparently.
You broke a $100 chair. We're $106 in the hole because of...
And that's before we went into production, before any of the other stuff.
Sullivan just wants to give a snowboard away, and he breaks a chair in the process. It's like...
Right.
Later, I'm going to force him to go get some screws and actually screw the chair back together.
I don't think it's actually fixable. I'm looking at this thing. I don't think it's actually fixable.
All right, let's roll into trivia. Okay. Here we go. We came up with some trivia questions for you.
What are they?
Okay.
You do the list, Beef.
All right.
Go for it.
Question number 1. Name 2 of the 5 riders whose part was to Foo Fighters' Everlong.
Foo Fighters Everlong. That's a good song, actually.
Yeah, it's funny because I really was not too into Foo Fighters. I mean, and still probably not. I obviously respect Dave Grohl as an artist, and Dave Grohl is a seemingly pretty cool guy. I like him, and he must be a cool guy.
Seems down to earth anyway.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem like he's all caught up in his own image. Like he doesn't seem like, say, like the Kid Rock type.
No, definitely not. I think he's more kind of like this revolutionary, like figure in music.
Revolutionary.
Well, I think so. I think like he obviously started like in Nirvana. He went into Foo Fighters.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, yeah.
2 of the 5, 3 of the 5, 2 or 3 of the 5.
2 of the 5. If you can find 2 of the riders that were whose
next
part
question.
was to Foo Fighters Everlong. And the next question is related, and in terms of what pro snowboarder dated Dave Grohl?
Shaun White.
He would have been quite young.
Okay,
are they still dating?
That's a joke.
Are they still dating?
That's a joke. Come on.
Okay. Dave Grohl clearly doesn't date Shaun White.
No.
Just let's cross our
Not
fingers.
there's anything wrong with that.
Let's cross our fingers that Dave Grohl isn't dating Lindsay Jacobellis, because let's just hope.
Wow. Anyhow, let's move on. I don't want to talk about Lindsay Jacobellis.
Okay. Question number 3. This is who invented a trick. Who invented the 450 to board slide? Ooh. Tough question. So dig that up. Who invented the 450 to board slide?
Okay.
Question number 4. Rob Kingwill had a segment on RSN.
What's RSN?
I think it's Resort Sports Network.
Yeah. So what is Resort Sports Network?
Well, Resort Sports Network was, I think, a network that was like literally broadcast in just resorts.
So if you don't live in a ski town, you're shit out of luck on this one.
No, there's a little thing called Google, and you can probably dig something up.
Okay.
So Rob Kingwill had a segment on RSN. What was it called?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I hope some people out there will for sure know this. Rob for sure will know this, so that's kind of sandbagging it. But so it was. Yeah, I'm not going to say it anymore.
Okay. What's the next question?
Question number 5. This is a Sullivan question. This is a historical deep history question.
History.
Yeah. So what was the brand that Don Szabo, Szabo's first pro model was on?
That's right. He had a pro model on Lamar, but he actually had a pro model before that in the 1980s. Okay. And so, you probably have to do a Google search on that or check it out. But Don Szabo is kind of like a legendary rider. And he was in, what were those movies called that he was like featured in? It's like Hetzel and Double O Szabo, he was called. They had little segments in it. And those guys went on to make all of the motocross movies after that. Right, they made like the.
Did they make like Crusty Demons of Dirt?
There was the guys who made the Crusty Demons of Dirt. They made series of snowboard movies. So there's question number 6.
Okay.
Right, there's question number 6. Who were the guys who made the movie? Who made Crusty Demons of Dirt? Who also made snowboard movies? And what were the movies' names?
Okay. All right, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then question number 6, number 7 now, because we just added a question right there.
Right.
That's a bonus question. Who was Todd Richards' first board sponsor?
That's right. And he actually had a sponsor before Morrow, before Sims. He had sponsors before that. So who's his first board sponsor?
All right. So go ahead and take a moment, dig those things up. You want me to go over the list one more time, just really quick?
All right. Run through it.
Number 1, name 2 of the 5 riders whose part was to Foo Fighters' Everlong.
Okay.
Number 2, what pro snowboarder dated Dave Grohl? Mm-hmm. Number 3, who invented the 450 to board slide? Mm-hmm. Number 4, Rob Kingwell had a segment on RSN. What was it called?
Okay.
Number 5, what was the brand that Don Szabo's first pro model was on?
Cool.
And as a bonus question, who was the company and what were the snowboard movies called?
Yep.
That produced those movies that Don Szabo was in,
yep.
Crusty Demons of Dirt and the snowboard films.
Yep.
So you can get some bonus points there. And question number 7 now, who was Todd Richards' first board sponsor? So
cool.
Yeah.
There's our trivia. So how do you enter?
How do you enter? I think what we need to do is you need to go on Facebook or Instagram. Actually, let's go Facebook.
Okay,
and
Facebook.
And basically say this is Real Talk Trivia, and these are my questions. Tag us in it. It might be your status.
Tag the Snowboard Project.
Tag the Snowboard Project, right?
Okay.
Or tag the Snowboard Project on Facebook, and then give us your answers, and we will look at each of those answers and we will tally it, and
we'll give you a tailgate Alaska teacher, and I'll throw in actually, I got some
why don't you throw in something really good so that it inspires people?
Really good?
First time, yeah.
I was gonna give away one of our stickers because they gave me like a bunch of like stickers, and so I'm gonna have some Snowboard Project stickers.
Okay.
So let's throw in a Snowboard Project.
And you know what?
Actually,
if you win this first one, here's what I'll do.
Okay.
I'll throw in 2 nights in the hostel at the Hot Water Inn. Yeah.
You're going to throw in 2 nights at a hotel, the Hot Water Inn?
Yeah, in Ketchum, Idaho, base of Sun Valley. If you make it here this winter, I will put you up for 2 nights at the Hot Water Inn in the hostel. But you'll be sleeping next to other people. Hopefully by then we'll have
a hostel though. But hey, keep it real, right? Keep it real.
Keeping it real. Keep it real.
Sleep in a hostel. Just be about the riding, not about the the champagne. No, this doesn't come with caviar or champagne. It comes with 2 hostel beds.
Yeah, and maybe a Rainier.
And a free Rainier too.
I'll give him a free Rainier.
So 2 Rainiers, 1 for each of the beds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you come with another person, you're staying one night, I'll give you 2 Rainiers.
Could 4 people show up if it's like a boyfriend, girlfriend, 2 couples?
That is not allowed in our hostel. You can't just show up and like be like, hey, and I've had this happen. Like people have shown up and been like, so my girlfriend's here and it's still $30 a night, and you're like, get the hell out of here. Are you kidding me?
Do you kick them out? Or
and
do
by
they
the
have
way, there are other people that are like sleeping in this room, and you're going to spoon your girlfriend with like 2.5 feet like of space.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
That's almost an ad. That was almost an ad.
That was way too close.
Oh my gosh! Did we totally? Yeah, we got way too close. Way too close.
I was starting to like get uncomfortable.
I know.
There.
You should have seen.
I was about to break the second chair here.
Yeah, right. We are advertising free media. Thank you guys. Today was our first
Real Talk.
Real Talk.
Yeah,
with,
this is the Snowboard Project. Yeah. And so every Monday we're gonna do a Real Talk episode. That's current events. Also, we're just gonna have fun. We love snowboarding. I mean, the thing is, like, I think I define myself as a snowboarder. Beeb defines himself as a snowboarder.
Slash,
and so basically,
slash hostel owner.
Dude, stop trying to plug your hostel.
I do define myself as a snowboarder.
Yeah. So anyhow, it's like we love the sport and we love talking about it, and basically we're obsessed with snowboarding. So
we are.
Thank you for tuning in. Please support us. Patreon.com/the Snowboard Project. You're going to hear that over and over again. Hopefully you can't tune that out because we need your support to keep this going.
On behalf of Mark Sullivan and the Beeve, thanks for listening to the Snowboard Project. Remember, ride fast, take chances, dream big, and take action. And for God's sake, don't be a pussy. Don't forget to support advertising-free snowboarding media at patreon.com. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project. The Snowboard Project.